Hi guys, my name is Meat. This is going to be a review for Good Small Company's new Arhan figure. This is part of their new figure line called Good Small Arms. I did a review on Chamber. That was the first one they have. It's a really good figure. And now they're coming with a second one. Just a heads up though, these figures are quite expensive. Yeah, you're looking at around $200+. Yeah, I don't know why is it that much, but this really got me intrigued. Because it transforms. I did review the variable action version. Even that figure on its own is expensive as well. But check that out if you haven't. It should be the video before this one. But anyways, here we go. And another thing, before we get to this review, Good Small Company has been making Figmas for the longest time. And this is their new take. They want to get to the mecha robot figure as well. They did a couple on the Figma, but yeah, this is interesting. Hence why I want to try it out. So here we go. Here's the box art. Really nice, and it's actually quite big. It has a bit of weight to it. New Arhan. I was actually trying to figure out what's the name of that mech from that movie, and it makes you wonder: is there an old one? There we go. Kind of wraps around. On the back side, kind of gives us a little bit of specs of what's to expect. So inside we have the shield, the blade, the railgun, and 2 machine guns, I guess. The stand. A lot of cool details here. Onto the side and onto the bottom. I believe this is a windowed box. So from the back side here, open this up here. There we go. And inside we have an egg. Wonderful. So we have to transform that, which got me intrigued. And we got the layout here of all the good stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, maybe try a few times transforming it for the review, and I'll let you know how it turns out. Alright, so let's start this. So we have the egg here. And yeah, it's actually quite nice. It's quite intact. Get some really nice details underneath. There are flaps here that we can pull out on all 4 sides. This kind of helps you as a base. Otherwise, for transformation, we have to open up certain flaps first before we pull out the figure. So with that said, I'm trying to figure out where it is. Alright, so this seems to be the back side where there's a gray piece here. This is the front side. There's hinges here, and basically, we're gonna take that out. There we go. So this whole thing comes down. Now on the back side is just this section here. It's a bit tricky how to pull that out. I find that if you focus here on the other side, there we go, we're able to do that. Now there's a little flap here to the side that you can take out, as well as this side here. Although I think depending on how I put this on, a little difficulty getting everything shifted back the way it is. Alright, so and we're just gonna pull this out. Now the problem is, so this flaps here, when I did it the first time, when it's fully opened out, I end up popping up this from the joints or from the hinges. So kind of close it, not all the way, otherwise it'll get stuck. And just slowly kind of pull this out. I mean, there's tabs holding it. Yeah, there we go. And that's pretty much how you take this out. Yeah. So you got the Arhan here, or the new Arhan, then you have the base here. So while we're on this note, we're gonna go ahead and assemble this. So, or turn this into the base. So you pop this out and you fold that in. This one there are kind of like a ball joint there. Just flips around. And do the same thing for the other side. And basically push this forward. And you still have that connection for the base there. And there you go. Now you do have that arm here. It actually has that matte feel to it. And we're just gonna place it here. And this is pretty much the base, and aside from opening up the flaps again for extra support. And there you go. Now for this, it's not that complicated, but there is a lot going on, and in some sense it's actually kind of cool. Alright, so we're gonna place it this way. This is the chest, and the more hollow parts here are kind of the legs. Alright, so you kind of detach this, bring this down. This is the leg, and there is a panel here. You gotta detach it right there, and this will kind of move this around. And this is part of the knee. There is a tab there which connects. There we go. And for the, basically the foot. Open up this for the toe. You have to turn this around though, like this. There we go. And that is the leg. Right there. Same thing on the other side. Lower this down. And yeah, basically you just kind of unwind it. And there's that tab here again, connected to the armor. Kind of just bring this down, tab there, plug that in. There we go. Turn this around here. There's this flaps here also that you can lower down. And we have the legs. Now moving up here, you got this part here, and you kind of have to detach this. There's a tab here, connects there, so you can untab that. Brings down this whole waist section. Bring this down. You can kind of close that in. Bring this back side or the armor, front side, bring it down. This side here, it's kind of like the spine. You kind of just put it there, and it just kind of rests there. This is just free floating there for the waist. So that's that. Moving on to the arms. Let's see here. Let me get it back the way it is. So it's like this. Again, there's going to be tabs connecting the armor. So you just untab those. And for this one, it kind of just folds in. It becomes that shoulder armor. Same thing with this one too. And there's a hinge. Bring that forward. And there we go. So it's really cool how they did that. I think this might be this way. There we go. So same thing on the other side here. Bring this down. I think, yeah, it goes this way. And just over. And you got your arm there. You also have this thrusters here. It's in a ball joint. You can just have them stick out. I don't think they can open up. Yeah, I think they might be. Well, I'm gonna pop them from the joint and see what's in there. It's kind of stuck though. There we go. Yeah, I don't see any hinges, so it's a solid piece. I don't think there's any moving parts there. Right, actually, while we're here on the back already, I want to show this cool gimmick. There is actually a hatch, and you can. Alright, so not sure if that was caught on the last part, but my neighbor just decided to use a table saw, and it's a loud noise. Anyways, moving on, there is a hatch on the back side, which you can open up. But in there, I mean, it's cool. There seems to be a chair there, but that's it. I don't think you can take out anything other than that. So that's that. Then you got this. I don't think I also that you can move this around. It's just an armor on top of that. So it just rests on the back side there. Now moving on to the cool part, the head. So the head, there's it's a little bit tricky to get it, but basically, well, let me just show it. So first, this back side, you pop this down. There we go. Then you pop the head out by pressing the back side. Then you have this like panels here that kind of collapse down here, and just gotta play around with it. So press this two backward a little bit more. You see the chest part starting to show up. Then you kind of help it a little bit more pressing this down. Then you just fold this down here, and you got the head there. Really cool. I like that eggshell feel to it, where it's just cracking. And you have this armor here that just kind of slides down here. And there he goes again. Hold on. Where was I? Right. So we got this flaps here that just moves down. There's a few more adjustments that you can do. I've already shown that you can actually extend this out. You can push that in. This armor here on the front does slide down. So after the transformation, you can slide those down there. The wrist has articulation, and you can actually slide the whole wrist up. Yeah, so as you can see here, that was aligned there, but you can push this up. There we go. Just a lot of cool details here. You know, the shoulder, the core, the head. Really cool looking figure. Yeah, it's quite nice. And I really like the transformation. It's actually not too bad. All right, so let me set them here, and let me take out my ruler just for a comparison. All right, so we have the variable action right here on the right, and I think I mentioned that's a 5 1/4 inch tall. Yep, still 5 1/4 inch tall. Now, the good small arms version, it's about 7 inch, maybe a little taller, but it's about 7 inch, and definitely a lot taller. Yep. So yeah, that's quite the size. Not to mention, actually, other armaments like this shield right here is as tall as him. It's a massive shield. Let's go over articulation. Alright, so let's go over articulation. Let's start with the neck here. Similar to the variable action, it will have some issues with that. Well, just in terms of hindrance, you cannot move the neck that much. There is some details underneath that clear plastic, which is awesome, or that visor. Here we go. Then, as we've seen with the shoulder, it's quite articulated with that hinge right there. These are connected on a hinge on top here. And feels like this thing can separate, but it does not. But you have a hinge there, and you got a ball joint on top right here. Moving on, you have that ball joint there. I find that this joint gets a little loose. Might have to touch it up later on to kind of fix that. But you also have this hinge right here, which is great. You have that swivel onto the elbow right there. There is no bicep swivel since you kind of have that ball joint already. And you have this hinge right here. Well, this one does separate. And you get your elbow. The elbow does turn. There's a joint here and there's a joint there. And you can bend that all the way to 180. So it's kind of like a double joint thing. And there's actually a cool gimmick here, which I forgot to move back. But the forearm armor right here, you can slide that back. There we go. And also, let's see for this arm here, or the wrist actually, you can actually slide this down here. Let me show that again. So here you can move this wrist joint up and down, which is cool. I like that. So I'm going to open this again. Now moving down, you have the torso here, which got the panels here and there. So for the torso here, you have a ball joint right here. You got a hinge on top there, and with a combination you can move this around, lean back, down. It's quite nice. Onto the back side here, you have this flap here. Not sure if I already mentioned that, but it is just connected on a ball joint right there. Then here you can slide this down. There's a hatch there. That seems to be a seat, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing you can do with that seat there. Just an added gimmick that there's a hatch. This thing, you got the armor on this, kind of like the spine. It just rests right there, and there you go. Then the front part here does slide up and down. There is a hinge there. Same thing on the back side here. So you got those movement there. Right, onto the waist. What we got here? So we got a ball joint there, and I just want to show that. There we go. So you got a ball socket right there. You got the joint here. It's actually telescoping. You can pop that out, or push that in. Put this out. I don't think that's a ball joint right here. So you have that gimmick there. Put this back in there. There we go. And I think I mentioned this already. You can slide down the armor. There we go. Quite nice. It's, well, this one can't do the split unlike the variable action, but you can definitely move this legs, you know, apart. So you get that articulation front and back. Moving on, you got your knee here. So this flaps here, you might have to kind of push it up if you want to bend the knees. Yeah, you definitely need to push that up. Otherwise, if you have that there, it's gonna hit. So you got that much knee bend, and you got this just a joint here. Then you have that swivel down there, and you have your ankle. This actually pops out. There's a tab there, connects. Well, it was part of the transformation, so you just peg that in there. Your ankle joint here, and yeah, it's double jointed, and that's pretty much it for that. So overall, articulation on this one is comparable to the variable action, but I feel that the variable action has a little bit more, and just in terms of the joint system, just a little bit, but definitely both of them are fully articulated, quite nice. You can do a lot of cool poses with this guy here. Really amazing. Actually, well, this one does have a better elbow articulation. So there we go. Moving on, let's go over the accessories. Alright, so for the hands, you have the closed hand here, you have the open hands there, nicely sculpted. There we go. Next part is this hand to hold the sword. And you have a pair to hold the machine guns. Alright, so for this, let's go with the machine guns first. I think it's a better way to do this. Alright, pop this out. Push this on here. It's a little bit tough because of how that you're able to shift that wrist joint. It kind of slides out of the way, so you gotta be patient with this. There we go. All right, so we have that. Now trying to put this on. Yeah, it's one of those, you gotta really slide it in. But fortunately enough, the fingers are flexible. So, actually, let me put this on the side here. Grab the other one. Actually, this thing here, the handle is all in the same direction. Wonder if that's how it is. Well, let's see. Putting this on. Come on. Maybe that's the wrong way to do it. Yeah, it's kind of a little difficult. Trying to get that finger across. Alright, so I managed to put it on the other hand. It's kind of hard to say how to put it on. You just, yeah, we really just gotta put it there somehow. So put in between the thumb and the index. There we go. Just gotta clear that out. And towards that bottom part there. God. It's not budging. Yeah, this is a bit difficult to do, especially maybe pop that off from the finger. That way you're not messing around with that. It's just that clearance right there. And I'm not even sure how that is with the paint. Hopefully it's not getting chipped. Slide that around, and yeah, that thumb right there, it's getting a lot of stress. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it looks a little odd, right? Yeah, this whole thing is just not. I wish this bottom part is a separate piece that you can pop out, but it's not. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to look into it, and there's really not much we can do other than try to squeeze that handle there, unfortunately. So that's that. Yeah. Moving on, we have this missile pods here, which are really cool, and it's attached there, hence why you have to pull that down. There's a tab, and slides that in, open this up, you got your missile pods. They've colored in kind of like that maroon color for the rocket tips. There we go. You have a pair of them, and you can put this on here as well. I don't think there is a way to stash this when it's in that egg mode. Yeah, kind of wish there is, or maybe somewhere, but there is that. So take that out. Next one up. Actually, we may have to swap out with this part, or actually no, because we have this awesome railgun here, and we need to figure out a way how to put that on there. All right, let me mess around with that. Yeah, likewise, so you just gotta have to mess around with that hand to put in that handle. Yeah. For this rifle or this railgun. There's another part here which extends a little bit more. It is a bit heavy for the figure, and hopefully it will hold. That's the thing. Hopefully it will hold. Alright, so yeah, he still managed to hold it up. It's quite big. And there's also a gimmick with this one. Basically, you can slide this apart. Now it opens up. There we go. And there is clear plastic right on the middle there. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Although I'm not sure if the stand can still hold it. Maybe lean it back a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, quite nice. It is definitely an oversized rifle there, but not too bad, I guess. Alright, so the next set is the sword. There we go. So for the sword, it's interesting. It's painted in white. It's not that silver. It's actually a little bit of gloss in there. You get your handle here. Not too bad for a design. And it's definitely a big sword. This one, you're just gonna same thing. You gotta work your way in there somehow, or maybe go this way. There we go. There we go. You can hold it any way you want it to. But after a while, I really think that the joint is gonna get loose. So if it kind of feels that way, and like in certain parts, definitely you have to use this stand. But for now, it's holding a pose, for the most part. Next up is the shield, which I've kind of briefly shown. This is a huge shield. It's a bit heavy too. Inside, you have this arm mounting point here, which you have a little bit of a wiggle room there. You can rotate this around. Then you have your handle here. Now, to put this on, it could be a little tricky too. So make sure this armor is folded back. Now, I think the best way to do this is put the handle first onto the hand, and likewise you can do that doing this first. Yeah, just you gotta work with it. I'm trying to get, there we go. Alright, so pop this back in. There we go, and this will just slide on top of the arm here. And hopefully it does it somehow. There we go. And you got the shield. Now the shield is extremely heavy, as you can see. Yeah, it's really heavy. You can try to there we go. Fold the elbow there, but it will still kind of sway back. But I think that's pretty much the best way to display it. Kind of get it tucked in as close to the body as possible, and then get the sword outreach like that, and there you go. That looks amazing. And I think that's pretty much it. I've covered the weapons, different hands, transformation. It's amazing. And yeah, let's conclude it, and let's bring back the variable action. And that pretty much wraps up the review for the Good Small Arms new Arhan. And yeah, it's between the two, I have to still say that I really like the Good Small Arms. You got that awesome transformation, the gimmicks, accessories. It has it all, and it's amazing. But you know, there's still a few flaws here that could have been better. You know, for one, putting the submachine gun on to the hands. This hand is just a bit tricky to work with. Yeah, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I have issues. But on the other hand, you got this awesome railgun. It does open up a little bit, which it's just great. Really nice. And as well as that heavy shield, despite being heavy, but it's kind of like a blast shield. It's supposed to be heavy, but But nonetheless, it's really nice. And plus, you have this missile pods here, which is cool add-on. And definitely really cool figures. Now, between these two, both of them, I feel like the joints does get loose over time. So that is going to be a problem. On the other hand, it feels like you get more articulation with the variable action, just overall. It just depends, like on the waist placement, the joint here, you can do the split with this guy. Yeah, and just get more articulation with this. Well, it is a smaller figure, but yeah, and it does not transform. And I think that was the design behind it, to create a figure that is very poseable and we get it through the variable action. Now, if you want something to transform, retain some of the articulation, you have that trade-off, and that's what we get with a Good Smile. But nonetheless, both of them are amazing. I would still recommend the variable action if you were looking for a cool figure with this scale, 5 1/4 inch, and still relatively cheap. If you can get it at 40 bucks. The Good Small Arms version, it is quite hefty. I think pretty much the main drawback for a lot is the pricing. You're looking at $200 for this figure. It's amazing, does a lot of cool gimmicks, but it's $200. That's a lot of money. Luckily for me, I'm able to afford and buy it and review it for you guys. But yeah, I'm really liking the Good Small Arms figure line so far, and it'll be interesting what they will pick next. And they are picking some unique mech designs from animes. Actually, it'll be interesting if they ever make one of those Ragnamail from Cross Edge and make a Good Small Arm version of that. That would be great. And yeah, it's gonna be bigger. And I want to see how that transformation, the actual transformation where you don't need to use parts swapping. That would be cool. Well, we'll see. Who knows? Anyways, that's about it for this review. Hope you guys like it. If you got questions, let me know. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.